Hello students, welcome back to Geography class. Last class we completed manufacturing industries. Today we will do a quick revision. Manufacturing is a secondary economic activity. It is responsible for the economic strength of a country. Industrial development is regarded essential for higher incomes, eradication of unemployment and poverty. Production of goods in large quantities after processing from raw materials to a more valuable product is called manufacturing. Secondary activities or manufacturing, they change the raw material into products of more value to people. As you have seen, pulp was changed into paper and paper was then later on changed into a notebook. These present two stages of manufacturing process. The paper made from pulp and the cloth made from cotton have added value to them at each stage of the manufacturing process. In this way, the finished product has more value and utility than the raw material that it is made from. Industry refers to an economic activity that is concerned with production of goods, extraction of minerals, or the provision of services. So, we have iron and steel industry, coal mining industry, and tourism industry. So manufacturing helps in modernizing agriculture. It also provides employment to millions of people. It increases the country's economy by exporting the manufactured goods, and it improves the country's infrastructure. The questions that can be asked on this are: the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of manufacturing industries. Explain. Why do we consider manufacturing sector as the backbone of development in general and economic development? What, why are manufacturing industries important? Or what manufacturing industries are important? Okay, in all this, you will speak about manufacturing industry, its importance, and the contribution of the manufacturing industries to the national income. Some other questions that can come is: explain why agriculture and industry are complementary to each other. In this, you can speak about how agricultural products become a raw material to the industry and how industries also provide so many goods that are helpful to the agriculture. And or agriculture and industry are not exclusive of each other. It's the same thing in another way. Or explain how agriculture and industry are interdependent on each other. In this, we can speak on 3 points. The first is that the agro industries in India, they have given a major boost to the agriculture by raising its productivity. More industry, more raw material, and this will increase the production of agriculture. They depend on the latter for raw materials, and they sell their products such as irrigation pipes, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, and PVC pipes, etc., to the farmers. So, development and competitiveness of manufacturing industry has not only assisted the agriculturalists, but it's increased their production, but it has also made production processes very, very efficient. Okay. So now with the appropriate policy interventions by the government and the renewed efforts by the industry to improve the productivity, economists predict that the manufacturing can achieve its target over the next decade. The National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, that is NMCC, has been set up with the entire objective to achieve and increase the productivity. Industrial location. It is important that the location of the industry is in such an area that it has easy access to raw materials, transport, and market. The location of a manufacturing industry plays a very vital role. Whenever someone decides to make a manufacturing industry, the first thing they will always think over or speak, brainstorm the most over is the location of that industry, because you want to make sure you make that industry in such a place that it is convenient to find most of the things. The factors that help in deciding the location of an industry are raw materials, the access to raw materials from that area, the power, availability of cheap labor, availability of power and infrastructure, availability of raw material, proximity to the market, availability of adequate and swift means of transportation. So, land, labor, capital, market, raw material, power, transport, these are all the factors that are necessary to decide onto the location of a manufacturing unit. Now, manufacturing industries can be classified on many bases. You can classify them on the basis of raw material, on the basis of ownership, on the basis of size, on the basis of the weight of the raw material and finished products, and on the basis of the main role of that industry. If you look at the raw material, depending on the raw material used, the industries can be divided either as agro-based or mineral-based. On the basis of ownership, you can see there's public sector, private sector, and joint sector. On the basis of size, we have large scale and small scale. On the basis of weight, we have heavy industries and light industries. And on the basis of the role of that country, we have basic or key on and consumer based industries. So if you are supposed to classify on the basis of raw material, you will see in agro based industry, the raw materials are normally cotton, wool, jute, silk, rubber, sugar, tea, edible oil, coffee, etc. Mineral based industries, the raw materials are iron and steel, cement, aluminium, machine tools, and petrochemicals. If you start classifying according to their role, we will see there are basic or key industries which supply their products or raw material to manufacture other goods. So these industries, their finished goods are raw materials for another industry. And for consumer industries, these are where the final products, they reach the end consumer. Okay, they produce goods for the direct use of consumers. The toothpaste, paper, sewing machine, food, milk, that directly come to us. Okay, that is the consumer industry. On the basis of investment, we can classify the industry based on it refers to the amount of capital invested and the number of people employed and the volume of production. We have small scale industry and large scale industry. Small scale industry is defined with the reference to the maximum amount allowed investment on the asset of a unit. At present, the maximum investment allowed is 1 crore rupees. If the investment is more than 1 crore on any industry, then it is known as a large scale industry. Cottage industries are a type of small scale industries where the products are manufactured by hand by the artists, like basket weaving, pottery, and other handicrafts. These are all examples of cottage industry. Small scale industries, they use lesser amount of capital and technology as compared to the large scale industries. But large scale industries, they produce large volume of products. Investment of capital is higher and the technology used is superior in the large scale industry. Silk weaving and food processing industries are small scale industries. Production of automobiles and heavy machineries are large scale industries. If you look at the basis of ownership, we have public sector, private sector, and joint sector. Public sector industries, they are operated by the government agencies like BHEL and SAIL, etc. Private sector industries are owned and operated by individuals or a group of individuals like Reliance, Tata, Bajaj, Dabur, etc. And joint sector industries are the ones that are jointly run by the state and the individual. Example is oil. Cooperative sector industries are owned and operated by the producers or suppliers of the raw material. They pull in resources and they share the profits and the losses made. Example is Amul and Lijjat Papad. Based on the bulk and weight of raw materials and finished goods, industries can be classified as heavy industries and light industries. Heavy industries are iron and steel. Light industries, they produce light goods and they use light raw materials such as electrical industry. Textile industry contributes like 14% to the economy. Employment opportunities are 3.5 crore people are employed. Foreign exchange earnings is 24.6% approximately, and it has 4% contribution to the GDP. Questions up till now that can be asked are, give any three reasons as to why the cotton textile industry occupies unique position in the Indian economy. The textile industry occupies unique position in the Indian economy because it contributes significantly to the industrial production, that is 14%. It generates 35 million people employment, which is the second largest after agriculture. And the foreign exchange earning is about 24.6%. It in all contributes to 4% of the GDP, gross domestic product. It is the only industry in the country which is self-reliant and complete in the value chain, all the way from raw material to the highest value added product. Cotton textiles in India, in ancient India, hand spinning and weaving was done. After 18th century, we started to use power looms. Okay, although there's a setback during the colonial period due to non-competitiveness with the mill-made cloth from England, the cotton textile industry is a very successful industry. The first successful textile mill was established in Mumbai in 1854. Cotton textile industry was concentrated in the cotton growing belt of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Because of the availability of raw cotton, easy access to the market, transport accessible especially with the port facilities. Good amount of labor was available. Also, the climate was moist, and all this contributed towards making it an ideal location. Spinning continues to be centralized in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu. Uh, Weaving is a highly decentralized to provide scope for incorporating traditional skills and designs of weaving in cloth, silk, zari, and embroidery. India has world-class production in spinning, but weaving supplies, we have very low quality fabric, which cannot be used by high quality yarn produced in the country. Weaving is done by a hand loom or a power loom, and it is done in the mills. A textile mill is a manufacturing facility where different types of fibers, such as yarn or fabric, are produced and processed into usable products. This could be apparel, it could be sheets, it could be towels, textile bags, etc. We export yarn to Japan, and the goods used, cotton goods, are exported to USA, UK, Russia, France, East European countries, Nepal, Srinagar, Singapore, and the African country. Problems of the cotton industry is it is poor quality yarn, tough competition in the world market, erratic power supply. Good quality yarn is only kept for export, and Indians themselves are not using it. I feel this is wrong. I do not feel we should be exporting the best quality. I think we should be using it in the country itself and exporting the second best. Machinery to be upgraded, low output of labor. Largest producer of raw jute and jute goods. We Indians, we are the largest producer. We are the second largest exporters of jute goods after Bangladesh. And we have approximately 70 jute mills in India. The first jute mill was set up in Kolkata. After the partition, the jute mills remained in India, but 3/4 of the jute producing area went to Bangladesh during the separation with Bangladesh. Hooghly Basin are the most ideal location, and the reason are its proximity with the jute producing areas, inexpensive water transport. It also supports a good network of railways, roadways, as well as waterways. There is abundant of water for processing raw jute. There is cheap labor available from West Bengal and adjoining states like Bihar, Orissa, and Uttar Pradesh. Kolkata, as a large urban center, it provides banking, insurance, and port facility. The challenges faced by the jute industry is the stiff competition in the international market from synthetic substitutes and from other competitors like Bangladesh, Brazil, Philippines, Egypt, and Thailand. Jute textiles, the major location is Hooghly Basin. We've already discussed the reason. Sugar industry, we are the first place in Gur and Khadasari. We are the second place in the world for the production of sugar. We have 460 sugar mills in the production areas of sugarcane due to the sucrose content reduction in haulage. In recent years, there is a tendency for the mills to shift and concentrate in the southern and western states, especially in Maharashtra. This is because the cane produced here has a higher source of sucrose content. The cooler climate over here also ensures a longer crushing season. And the cooperatives are more successful in these states. The challenges that these industries are facing are the seasonal nature of the industry, old and inefficient methods of production, transport delay in reaching cane to factories, and the need to maximize the use of the baggage. Next is sugar industry. So we were doing sugar industry. In sugar industry, the significance is that it provides employment to a large workforce. It supports large number of sugar growing farmers. It fulfills sugar needs of large population. And sugarcane baggage is used for energy generation, paper, paper making, and to feed cattle. Sugarcane bagasse. Molasses is used in alcohol making. It distributes, almost half of the mills are in the UP and in the Bihar. Reasons for migrating to southern states is now the tropical climate, which would provide with a longer crushing season, and the success of cooperative society. So with this, I end the revision today. I'll continue with this in the next video. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, take care, and keep learning. Thank you.